So today we are talking about how Mom lived on $500 a month again. We had part one yesterday. People were wanting to know more specific tips on how she did it and more...
How did you deal with depression? Did you not get discouraged?
Yeah.
Your attitude type things.
Yeah, so today we're going to be answering your questions on that, and we're going to be telling a little bit about how she did that, because, sorry guys, I'm doing two things at once here, because people really want to know, so that's what we'll do. Hello, Danita from Colorado. Yay, another Coloradoan.
And be sure to pop in with questions, because we don't mind answering questions if we can for you.
Catherine said, it must be hot there. You've got shorts on. No, it's like 75. We're in Colorado, and it was really hot last week, but once summer hits, I wear shorts all the time, so. And I didn't think you could see it, but I forgot I stood up. Oh, well, okay. Courtney, I live in Colorado on the Front Range, north of Denver. Mom lives in Wichita, Kansas. Mm-hmm. And, yeah.
So I'll start on attitude, because there's lots of places like Living on a Dime, our website, our book, our YouTube station. We have literally thousands of tips, practical, specific tips that tell you how to save in every area of your life, just about anything you need to know on. But if you don't have the right attitude, if you're not of the mindset that I'm going to do this no matter what, it's not going to do you any good to have all the tips. It's like cleaning the house. You can make out a great schedule and have it all done, but unless you have the umption to get up and actually do the cleaning, that list is not going to do you any good. So we were asked, how do I keep from getting discouraged? Part of this too, attitude. I think a story that I had that was really good and explains this was, I went to have my hair, I actually do have my hair cut by a beautician once in a while, and I went to have it cut. And when this woman found out what I did, or who I was, she said, oh, I need your help. Can you give me some advice and some help on my debt? And she said, I am just so drowning in debt. And she's cutting my hair at this time. And I hear clip, clip, chop, chop, And she gets more and more stressed. What's the matter?
I'm going to interrupt you just a minute. So according to YouTube, we have no sound, and they can't hear us. So before we do an hour-long broadcast...
no sound.
Hey, Dave! Okay, I'm sorry to interrupt on Facebook here.
Dave,
I'm coming. So, everybody on YouTube's saying there's no sound. Do you know why?
There's no sound. Okay. Hold on, peeps. You probably can't hear me. No, all the audio.
The desktop audio is disabled. Does that mean?
That's the audio coming from the screen. So.
Okay, we're gonna stop.
Oh wait! Oh no! Don't stop it. Hold on, guys. Hold on. Oh wait! What? Okay, yeah. There's something wrong with the YouTube one.
Okay, that was real helpful.
Facebook can hear you.
We're going to stop YouTube for just a minute, and then...
Whoops. I'll have to figure it out, because I think that'll take like 10 minutes. Fine.
Okay.
What's wrong?
Let's try it again. Just a second, Facebook. I'm really sorry. Facebook can hear us. Okay, good. Thank you. I think they're cute, too. Those are my two youngest, Jack and Dave. Yeah, exactly. We always bring in the kids because we have no idea what we're doing. Okay, so I think we're back on YouTube. Let me get a few people on here. So just a little chit chat on
you want me to give some tips?
Well, just a little chit-chat on Facebook for just a minute while we're trying to get our YouTube back going. So, Kelly, we're trying to get on with it, but we're having some technical difficulties, so... Oh, shoot, we still can't get Facebook, or still can't get YouTube. Okay,
Should I give some tips?
yeah, gifts.
You guys want some tips?
Okay.
While she's working on that, as soon as she's getting...
Okay, let's just do this. We're just going to stop YouTube and we're just going to do Facebook. So, let's do...
You want me to go on there?
Hold on. David! Oh, shoot. Start recording. Let's just do that. Okay, so we're going to try and record this for Facebook and do it later, or for YouTube and do it later. Okay, so, lots of folks here. Yes, we're very happy to see all of you here. So, we are back on now.
You want to start? Finish my story?
Yes, so go ahead and finish your story.
I'm talking about the attitude. You really need to seriously think and figure out what, if you're going to do this. You know, it's just not for the faint of heart if you're going to get out of debt. And she was cutting my hair and she was telling me how she just was in debt. She was so stressed. She was working longer hours because she couldn't, was trying to make up for the debt, and then she would go out to eat. She said, we go out to eat every single night because I'm so exhausted from working. And she said, of course, I don't want to go to a fast food place because I want to sit down and relax. So they were going to a sit-down restaurant, spending minimum of $50 every evening going out to eat, and she couldn't figure out what they were going to do to get out of debt, you know. So we're going on, oh, you want closer to you. And so we're going on and on, yeah, we're going on and on about this, how she just is going out to eat all the time and doesn't know what to do. And then out of the blue, after 20 minutes of her talking like this, she says, so how do I save on laundry detergent? And I'm looking at her thinking, that totally threw me, because I thought she was going to say, how can I start cooking at home? What the whole problem was, and I'm telling you this story because I want you to seriously look at what the real underlying problem is. We look at the surface. Her problem wasn't her laundry detergent. Her problem was going out to eat. And she needed to learn how to stop going out so much. And so we get a lot of questions. Two of our main questions is, how do I save on groceries and how do I save on laundry? And I was thinking, why do we get so many questions? Because there's stuff everywhere on our website, every place where we tell how to do this. And it's pretty simple, some of the things. And it dawned on me, part of it is she was wanting to know how to save on laundry detergent because in her mind, she felt like she was doing something positive to help with the debt. But what the problem, and so she didn't have to feel guilty anymore. But what the problem was, she wasn't dealing with the real source of the problem. And a lot of people do that. Well, maybe if I cut back on my groceries or if I cut back on the amount I spend for laundry detergent and stuff, the other stuff will go away. Or I don't have to feel guilty about spending on going shopping and buying expensive purses and shoes and, you know, all the other things people do.
I think if they're going to save $5 on their laundry detergent, that it's going to make up for the literally thousands of dollars that they spend eating out. We have an article at livingonadime.com about how you're eating your way into debt. And I had one lady say that they did it for a year. Karen, our website is livingonadime.com. And this reader kept track for a year, and only her and her husband ate out and kept the receipts. And in 1 year, $22,000 they spent. She was mortified. Megan, you can't cut back on student loans. No, but don't get them in the first place if you can, is my first tip. And second, do everything you can to get those suckers paid off.
If you have to take 2 or 3 jobs,
get a second, third job.
6 to 8 hours to do it.
Yeah, cut the cable. Do what you can to get rid of them, because until you get that debt gone, you're not going to have...
And be careful, too, because if you hear yourself saying, I never will do this, or I can't do this, or there's no way to do this, when you say those words, that means you're not really facing the problem head on. You'll hear me say, put pen to pencil all the time. Write down these things and say, like she did, figuring out how much they spent a year, because you don't have a clue how much you're really spending.
Nicole said, what do you do when you don't feel like cooking? Tough. Cook anyway. I mean,
But you know,
there's so many easy
even at
foods
that,
now.
I have a chronic illness and so does Tara.
Mhm.
Most of the time I didn't feel like cooking. If you have to start out with, if you're going out to eat 4 times a week, cut back on one. Do all this stuff slowly. Don't cut cold turkey, you'll never make it. Do it slowly. So if you're going out 4 times a week to eat, just start going out 3 times or even 2. Then if you say, well, I'm too tired even those 2 nights to fix anything, have peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Have a bowl of cereal.
Eat some toast with an egg.
Have a scrambled egg. You don't have to make
Yeah.
it in a, we think we have to sit down to a 10-course meal. Keep it simple. With us being sick, Tara just had an apple with peanut butter on it. Your family can handle that. You know, it isn't, you have to get out of the mindset that cooking a meal has to be elaborate. We see all these fancy cooking shows and we think, oh my, there's no way I can do this. So we have to have, you know, roast and mashed potatoes and 3 vegetables and a salad. You don't have to do that. Keep it simple.
Joel said you've got to deduct the amount of food that it costs from home versus eating out. Don't give me that. No. I'm sorry. We spend $5 for the entire meal for 7 of us. It doesn't even come close to eating out. It doesn't even come close.
And even if you want to get down real technical, driving the car and the gas to the store, you know, and that type of thing. Tara doesn't even have the gas to go to the grocery store because she has her groceries delivered. So for basically nothing. So, you know, those are all just kind of excuses not to cook at home or stay at home. And like I say, you don't have to cut this out totally. Cut out 2 or 3, and then you'll be amazed at the savings you have just on those couple of things. Do that with a lot of things. If you love your pop and you buy 10 packets of 6 packs of pop a week, don't give it all up. Just take and do like 4 packets. You know, you would be amazed at what you save.
Like what we do, we don't drink soda all the time, pop, whatever you call it, wherever you're at, Coke, wherever you're at. But we do special things. So like when Mike's doing a big construction project around the house or a lot of yard work, then we'll buy soda for that. When he's really tired, he needs a pick-me-up, we'll do it for that. When we go on our picnics to the mountains, I'll buy a couple of 2 liters of soda. But we don't drink it every day with every meal.
You know, and be careful because we always mention pop and the expensive coffee. But I did a thing on bottled water, and what they did, and I figured up the cost. I took my the water bill, figured the water bill, how much water we spent with tap water. Tara's just laughing because, well, I do this thing when I say put pen to pencil. I'm serious about this because if you start putting this stuff down and figuring out what you're really spending things, and I don't mean every time you go to the grocery store you have to write a list of what you're buying. What I'm talking about is sit down with your bills each month and maybe look and see where the money's going. But for the water, I wrote this down. I had to write it down because I got chronic fatigue brain today. Okay, if you buy bottled water for a family of 4, and this is a minimum amount to drink, it's $26 a month, which doesn't seem too bad in the whole scheme of things, but it costs 4 cents a month if you drink the tap water. For a year, it's $312 a year for a family of 4 with bottled waters compared to 48 cents for tap water. And, you know, if you're serious, I know all the horrible things that are in tap water. You know, I've read it all. So, you know, really. But if you're serious about getting out of debt, this is the type of stuff you have to start doing.
Yeah. You know, go to livingonadime.com, guys. We have a ton of recipes on there. Really, I mean, we have literally thousands. So go there and I just put the link in the description there, but our cookbook has 1,200 recipes on tips on how to save on your grocery bill. That's how I spend $5 a meal for 7 people. Well,
we have all kinds of other things on how to save on your grocery bill too.
Yeah.
For example, I mentioned yesterday, 50% of what groceries you buy, the American families throw out. And you say, well, I use all my leftovers. But you don't think about things like the potato chips that get left open and go stale. You know, they get tossed. I know some people that have cans of pop, juice, milk sitting around in glasses that are half drank, and you pour them out. People do this all the time. They tell their kids, go grab an apple and have an apple for a snack. And I'll see an apple that has 3 or 4 bites taken out of it. They throw the rest of the apple out. Those are the ways you really need to, a lot of the general stuff, I can save on the sales at the grocery store. Those are general tips. Most everybody knows. But it's these little things that we're overlooking and that we need to get serious about looking at for different things.
I'm going to try and put links in here, guys. We're having some technical difficulties, so please be patient with me if I look like I'm weird on Facebook. But I'm going to see if I can get this going for you. So go ahead.
Another thing on groceries for saving food is I use what I call filler food. If the kids wanted, a snack in the evening, or if I didn't have a huge meal, they were full, but they probably weren't stuffed, and in a couple of hours they were wanting a snack, I would make lots of popcorn. It was cheap, it was good fiber, and they loved it. And I would do that over having a package of cookies or lots of chips in place of chips. Kids love popcorn in place of the chips and stuff. So instead of using expensive bags of potato chips, I would do the popcorn for them. So try to find things to substitute. When I bought groceries, I couldn't buy avocados or tomatoes often, because those were the expensive vegetables. I would buy carrots, I would buy apples. Apples at that time were much, much cheaper. And I used lots of potatoes. People don't realize potatoes fill you up very well. They've got vitamin C, lots of good nutrients in them.
Preach it, Mother, preach.
Calcium. So what I'm trying to get you to do is think out of the box and stop looking at the typical, I'm going to get the sales at Sam's or Costco. There's way more other ways to save that we're wasting our food. We're so into recycling now, but we're throwing out so much food, it's ridiculous. We could save the environment twice as fast if we just ate the 50% of food that we throw out. So do that.
Okay,
now,
just a second. Mom and I are going to switch places because I'm having a hard time here. Sorry, guys. Okay.
I thought you was going to put me on a picture.
No, I won't put you on the picture. Okay, let's try this a little better. Okay, now I think we're on a little bit better here, so I can give you guys the links, because we have a link of 10 Crockpot recipes for $5 on our website. So I'm giving you guys some of these links so you can go there and find them. So what do we? Tammy wants to know, what do we think of all these? What do we think of all these, Mom?
They actually thought that we were on our website, that we were in Aldi's, that we belonged to Aldi's, or we're advertising for Aldi's, because we push it so much. I use it. That's what I go to mostly, is Aldi's.
Yeah.
I get.
We don't have it in Colorado,
and so I haul stuff back to Tara half the time. To do Aldi's, but now I'm going to touch, because I was talking about, the gal asked me about the laundry detergent. One thing about laundry, one of the tips I like to tell about laundry is, instead of worrying about laundry detergent and making your homemade, which is fine, we've got tons of recipes on our website for it, and in our book, we got it in our book and everything. And so we don't have a problem with making our own laundry detergent, and that type of thing, and saving and that. But the problem with the laundry detergent is you're doing too much laundry. It's not the laundry detergent and the expense of it, you're doing too much laundry. It used to be, we would wear clothes one day, and the next day, if we happened to get some ketchup or something, or a little spot of something on our shirt, my mom would take soap and water and rub it off and say, have us wear it the next day. Now, in the summer, if you're hot and sweaty and stinky, that's fine. But I'm talking in the winter, if nothing smells on your shirt or anything, there's nothing wrong with just spot cleaning the top and wear it the next day. Have the kids wear your jeans more than once. Wear them a few times. You will save so much on laundry. We use the same, each person has their own towel. You have a clean body on your own body, and you're drying off. You can use that towel more than once, I did about 3 to 4, it just depended if I was changing the sheets. Sometimes I would do 4 loads of laundry for a family of 4 in 1 week. And that was more than plenty. And that 4th load was when, if the kids were sick or something, I had to do extra. You should be able to do a load of whites, darks, and lights for a family of 4 easily without doing so. Cut back. Oh, another thing people are bad about, and kids, and you need to train your kids. Well, my kids won't do that. No, you train them to do that. They keep saying, well, my kids won't do it. Well, you've got to take time and effort. This all takes a little time. Saving money or getting out of debt will take some sacrifice and effort on your part. Kids will take, and adults too, they'll drop their clothes on Sunday on the floor or toss it on the bed and it gets wrinkled. And they're clean, but it's just all wrinkled. So instead of, they should be hanging it up. Why do I look at you when I say this? You don't do that. You don't do that. I know you don't do that. And instead of hanging them up and putting them away, they drop them on the floor. So they don't want to bother to put them up on a hanger. So it's easier to put it in the hamper. So they toss it in the hamper or gather it up off the floor when it's time for laundry. So people are doing probably 3 times, 4 times as much laundry as they really should. So if you multiply the amount of laundry soap you buy and cut it in 4s, that's how much you'll save just by watching how much laundry you do.
Yeah, for 7 of us, we do about 8 or 9 loads of laundry a week. And that's it.
And do that.
Sometimes it's 10, depends on, but yeah.
Some people were asking about tips on how to save on clothing. I'm just going to do one because we'll cover all these subjects. Today we're just trying to do, well, we haven't even got to it, my story, how not to get discouraged in that. And so over the next few days and weeks or whatever, we will be taking each subject and going into detail on more practical, everyday tips and walk you through things. But somebody asked about clothes. How do I save on clothes? I really suggest that people get over the phobia of using, going to garage sales and thrift stores. Those are the best ways to do it. Now, to help you get past that, you can go to a thrift store and there are still clothes that have tags on them. Start out slow. Maybe buy only tops that you find that have tags on them still, so that you don't feel quite, as uncomfortable using them. Throw them in the laundry and wash them, and then start that way. Start buying things that won't bother you quite so much, like you could buy plates and cups and things that you can scrub, scour, and put in Clorox and start using those. And work your way up. Just do with a few things that you can feel more comfortable using a used item of. And once you start doing that, it's like my gal that I told you about yesterday. She would never go any place but the most expensive shop, and then she was buying garage sell stuff, and was just, totally excited. So that's kind of all I wanted to touch on clothes today. Now, then I want to do attitude. None of this will work. All these tips are great and wonderful, but unless you have the right attitude for it and change your mindset, you have to start saying, well, I can't do that because, or my debt is just too overwhelming, or any of these different things, this will never work for me, or it's hopeless. And any of those types of thinking, like your self-pity, oh, I wish I had what everybody else had. Why can't I have all that stuff? Blaming the government, blaming you don't get enough minimum wage. All these things I've put in the category, what are you laughing at? Negative thinking. And they drain your energy.
Yeah.
I needed every bit of energy that I had. I mean, I was working all that amount. I had 2 kids to raise on my own. I was beyond exhausted. I couldn't take negative energy and allow it to drain me even more. And if you sit down and let's say you have your water bill, I want you to start sitting down and actually looking at your bills, your credit card bills, your utility bills. And the way I would do things is I'd look at my water bill, and mine wasn't this much, but say yours says $150. Now, I could have looked at that and said, there's just no way I can pay that. No way. I just give up. And then go in a deep depression, discouragement, a hopeless attitude, and go curl up in a ball and try to get some rest, because I couldn't deal with it. Instead, look at that $150 and think, how can I fix this? If we took a shower every other day, will that help? If we stop using so much water and maybe water the yard only once a week instead of every day, start listing ideas, use your energy for listing those ideas, coming up with a solution instead of sitting and feeling sorry for yourself. I learned from a lady one time years ago, when she said, when you feel like, you can feel when those feelings are happening. You know exactly when those feelings, the self-pitying, the depression, the discouragement is coming on you. When you feel that, she said, take a timer, a kitchen timer, and set it for 15 minutes. And she said, I want you to sit there and make yourself feel discouraged and have a pity party. And I tried that. When I would feel those times, I ended up doing it, I think, twice is all. Because I didn't have it quite so much because I had made up my mind from the very beginning I was going to work at this, and I was going to work at it hard, and I wasn't going to think about what I couldn't do, but what I could do to fix this bill. So I didn't get discouraged too often, but I did. I did. And so I sat there and I thought, okay, I'm going to be depressed now. And that timer's clicking. I thought, I got to hurry up because I only have 15 minutes. Okay, I need to think of something to feel sorry about. And pretty soon I started laughing because I couldn't make myself be discouraged in that 15-minute time. And if you do that, you'll find that you just pop out of it, and it helps you, to get over the depression and the discouragement like that. So I really want you to try to restart your thinking. It's going to be hard. If you're in the habit, these habits are hard to break, and I want you to be easy on yourself. If you fail and totally bomb it, don't let that get you down. Pick yourself up and say, okay, I'm going to take one more step and try it again. And you just keep picking up and you keep on going. I remember one New Year's, there was a couple of things that I really felt was important. I'm sorry if I have to use my notes. I'm totally brain dead today, so I'm having to use notes. But there was a couple of things that I found out that helped me when I started getting discouraged. And one of them was I was sitting one day, it was New Year's Day, I remember it so well, and we were back in the little 3-room sleeping because we were only able to heat that part of the house. And I woke up New Year's Day and I was sitting at the table while the kids were still sleeping, and I thought, you know what, I have been at this for, felt like 100 years, and I thought, I'm so tired of this. I'm the only person awake at 5:30 on New Year's Day. Everybody else had friends and family doing stuff with, stayed up to bring the New Year in. I was working the night before, so I didn't, and too exhausted to stay up, and I'm sitting there going on and on, I have nobody to help me. What am I going to do? The whole gamut I was going. And I can't keep doing this any longer. It's New Year's, and I'm starting a new year, and I had nothing to show for it. And I happened to look over, and there was a book, I don't even know why it was in that place that it was, laying in the other room. I'd had it for a long time. I hadn't read it. And I got up and I walked over and I picked up this book and I sat down and I started to read it. And on the first page, I started to chuckle. It was so funny. I read the second page, third page, I started laughing. And finally, by the fourth and fifth page, I was covering my mouth, trying to keep from hee-hawing so bad at this book because I didn't want to wake the kids up. And Tara yelled in. She said, Mom, what are you laughing at in there? I was so disgusted because I woke her up laughing. And it was Irma Bombach's, and I just love this title because this was so me. It's Irma Bombach's book that says, if life is a bowl of cherries, why am I always in the pits? And I thought that was and I related so well to this book, and I just laughed and laughed and laughed. And I discovered then at that point, you need to start laughing. People need to relax. The Bible says that, a merry heart doeth good, and it really does. And so we laugh a lot when we have crises, and we don't just have one. As a matter of fact, Tara's niece just said this morning, I was telling her about the fiasco I went through taking my grandson yesterday on a special jaunt and all the things that happened. And she said, well, Nan, she said, it's going to teach them patience because then when they get older and these things happen, they're just going to laugh at them and think nothing about them. And I thought, well, that's one way to look at the crisis is, just teaching the kids patience. But we try to laugh at these things and read a good, funny book. I go on YouTube,
yeah.
Christian comedians on YouTube. I find a TV program that I know is going to make me laugh, or something like that. I have a bulletin board, a huge bulletin board in my kitchen, and it's plastered with jokes and cartoons. And you know, it's interesting because not only do my grandkids, but my kids, they'll stand for ages in front of that bulletin board reading the different cartoons and laughing at them. And the thing is that you think they get tired of seeing the same things, but they laugh at those cartoons, and we try to find things. Oh, there's one. I gotta tell them. Can I tell them my cartoon joke? It's so funny. One of my favorite cartoons on there is all these German shepherds lined up in a line, and a fierce-looking German shepherd sitting down in a line, and this little tiny kitten is walking across, and the caption that says underneath, she's walking across in front of the German shepherds, it says, "Yea, though I walk through the valley of shadow of death, I will fear no evil." And I love that cartoon because, you know, it just says it all. But start laughing, you know, at things and changing your attitude, and don't allow yourself to be discouraged when you start feeling it coming on. Like I said, think differently. Use that energy to fix the problem, not to make more problems. Do we have any questions or anything from anybody?
Not yet, but does anybody have any questions? I'm kind of keeping up, giving you links to our website, livingonadime.com, so that you can go there and read more information. Because, you know, we have tons and tons over there. So if you guys have any questions, let me know. Let's see, what do we got here? Medical expenses. Can you give any advice for saving on medical expenses?
Well, we mentioned yesterday, first of all, go in if you have hospital expenses and go into the financial department there and talk to them. They work with you so often.
Yeah.
They'll help to get some of the bills down. Check when you go to buy your medicines. Check 2 or 3 places. I went to one place one time and they were going to charge me like $4 for a thing. And another place, my insurance would actually take care of it and I wouldn't have to pay anything. So make sure you check out several different places. Oh, the main thing though is always tell them if you have no insurance, you tell the doctor and you tell the dentist, I have no insurance. I went in one time to have my teeth checked and everything. They were going to charge me $150 for x-rays. And when they told me that we'll have x-rays, I said, how much is it going to cost? They told me, I said, I don't think I can have it done because I have no insurance. And so I can't pay for that. And the dentist said, oh, well, that's no problem. He said, we don't need the whole $150 worth that we were going to do. We just need this one. And it was going to be something like $50. So talk to your doctor, talk to your dentist.
Yeah, always tell them if you don't have insurance. Now, with Obamacare, this is my pet peeve. I'm going to get on a little soapbox here. Nowadays, a lot of times they won't tell you how much it's going to cost. We've gone to the doctor a couple of times. We went on vacation and we had to take my daughter in. And the lady told me, she said, I have no idea how much this is going to cost. She said, we don't do the billing. So just to be warned, nowadays they may not be able to tell you, but you can tell them, listen, if I don't need this x-ray, I don't have insurance, please don't do anything extra because I don't have the cash to pay for it. So if you tell them that, it will really help, you know, cut down on some of the expenses. So,
and beware of some small things. For example, my mom was in the hospital and she has monthly medications that she takes, you know, all the time. She didn't, I don't remember how much it was outrageous. They gave her regular monthly pill at the hospital. And they charged her like $15 for one pill, something like that. It was outrageous, where she had the pills at home. So if she'd brought them to the hospital with her, it wouldn't have cost her that $15. And so be careful on those types of things too, because a lot of things you use, they will, like, you maybe don't need an extra box of Kleenex, and they'll charge you for those types of things. So check on some of that stuff.
And some places won't allow you to take your own medications at home. So I get that, but at least ask if you can, because I totally understand someone's going to say, well, the hospital won't let me. Yeah, I understand that. So, but at least ask. So
yeah.
Okay, let's see. Do we have any other questions? Do you have any advice on being on medical leave from work and how not to get upset from the waiting time benefit takes? Losing my mind waiting, and it's so upsetting. Well, I mean, you just have to wait. I mean, I don't.
That's one of those things that's
Yeah.
not in your control, and that's kind of the negative emotions I was talking about. You can't do anything about that. So instead of laying there thinking about what am I going to do, what am I going to do, find something in your life that you can logically start figuring out how to fix or do. Focus on something else, not on that. If you get your mind off of it. That was another thing I was wanting to mention. We do so much of our money is connected with our emotions. Stop doing that. If you do nothing else, stop associating money with emotions and make it logical. For example, people spend money. They go shopping at the mall because they're emotionally, that comforts them. They buy a whole bunch of extra food and stuff that they probably shouldn't be eat or need because it comforts them. Start spending your money in a logical way and find something else to comfort you. I don't know why this came to me this morning. A man I would say, you know, I'm stressed out. I'm going to go play golf today. And it costs, what, $100, $150?
I think it's more than that
it's
now,
huge
but-
amount to go golfing for the day. That's how he was going to be comforted emotionally and spend the money emotionally to be comforted. Well, instead of doing that, he could have come up with the idea, well, I need the physical exercise, so I'll ride a bike, or I'll take a walk, or I'll ride the bike with the kids. One thing he's doing, he's connecting money with his emotions, and the other one, he's not. He's taking care of the emotional need, but without spending the money.
And one other thing is just do the next thing you can do. Okay, so the money's not coming in. What can I do to save? I can cut my grocery bill. Can I cut my laundry? Can I cut my car insurance down lower?
Can I stop leaving the water run while I'm brushing my teeth?
And just try to work on the next thing. One thing that, Juliet says she loves us. Thank you. We need some encouragement. One thing, Mike and I are working on a pretty big how-to project at the moment that isn't quite going as well as we had hoped it would. And we're pretty sure he has ADD. We're not sure, but he keeps jumping all over the place. And I just keep telling him, okay, just do the next step. And at the end of the day, he'll say, well, I didn't get as far on this project as I wanted to. And I said,
Don't look at that
stop
section.
worrying about it. You got another step
some done.
further. And every day, even if it's just one extra screw into that board, we are one step closer. And so you have to really just keep doing the little things do add up.
Don't look at the big whole picture. Look at one little section, take care of that, and then move on to the next little section.
Exactly. And, it's the same thing with debt. We had, Mom paid off $35,000 of debt on $1,000 a month in 5 years. Mike and I paid off $20,000 of debt in 5 years on $22,000 a year income. We didn't get it there by getting a big old check, an inheritance check or anything. We got it there by doing the next step that we needed to do to save more money. So
we've got a cartoon in the book that says, how do you eat an elephant? How do you cook and eat an elephant? Well, one bite at a time. That's how you do it. One bite at a time. Just take one little bite. So.
Yeah. Okay, so let's see. Did we hit everything?
I think we did. One thing I was didn't get her name, but she said yesterday to encourage you guys. She said, all the people I know who are out of debt are so calm and so peaceful.
Yes.
And and that encouraged me when she said that, because I found that to be true too. And I know you think, well, I just can't do this. It's not worth the effort. It's too much sacrifice. You can't, and people say, well, what if I backslide or fall back into it? Nobody falls back into that, unless it's a medical emergency, something like that. Nobody falls back into it because it feels so good once you start doing this, and once you start trying to step by step eke your way out. And like Tara said, whether it's the money or doing a project, you do it one step at a time. Go out to eat one night less. buy one less thing of chips a week, you know, and that type of thing.
So Nancy said, where can I find grocery coupons online? Nancy, I have no idea. I don't use coupons.
We don't use coupons.
If anybody has some good grocery coupon sites, please put them in there for us in the comments. Here's the thing. We spend about $600 a month on groceries for 7 of us. And we've got several, I'm gluten-free and dairy-free and all this ridiculous stuff free. But anyway, so we do have some allergies. And you don't have to use coupons to save money. It's more things like buying generic and
I used all these, and you can't use coupons there. So you know, it's a lot cheaper than using the coupons.
Yeah, Karen says Smart Source, so you might try Smart Source. I don't know of any other ones. Does anyone else have any other questions while we're waiting? And as you can see, I turned out wonderfully, even though we had hard financial times growing up. You know, your kids will survive.
Yeah.
It's not going to kill them. And as a matter of fact, our niece this morning had this brilliant...
Oh, that's what I was saying about that.
Yeah, I mean, she was saying, you know, for those of you who are just coming in, she said, you know, our kid... Mom was talking about how they had these problems yesterday going on a date with my son, her grandson, and they got lost and all this stuff. And she said, you know, your kids.
Well, my grandson said, "Oh, Nan, this is a great adventure, isn't it? Here I'm tearing my hair out in Denver traffic trying to find out where I'm going." But he looked at it as a great adventure.
Yeah, and she said, you know, when they're adults, they won't snap.
They won't. Yeah, they won't snap.
They'll
true. Deal with the crises and not panic over them.
So, anyway, Nancy, free samples. Does anybody know where to get free samples? I don't know because we don't.
Tara's house.
Yeah, come to Tara's. I don't really get a lot of samples, but you know, I just
one thing too. Don't look. Try to get away from everything you see. A lot of stuff you see on the internet on how to save money for this, how to save money for that. We get locked into 2 or 3 things like, okay, I'm going to make all my homemade cleaners because I'm going to save money on that, and you lock yourself into these boxes that, yes, you can maybe save money with homemade cleaners, but you concentrate so fully on that there's another whole world of financial stuff that you need to be dealing with out there, and in different ways, that you don't need to. So be careful that you don't get locked into things you see on the internet. Look at your own personal. Stop looking out there what everybody else is doing, and because to be honest, everybody else, most of the people out there are in debt.
Oh,
they really are. So stop looking out there and try to look at your own money situation and write it out, write it down.
Yeah.
And to see.
Shirley says we need some old school for our kids and grandkids so they'd appreciate life. Yeah, that's the problem. Everyone's spoiling their kids by every time they go to the grocery store, they get them what they want. They're in all these activities. They don't have to be in all this stuff, so kids don't appreciate it. Holly says how to save on pet expenses, and Davina says how to stay on cable. So let me do the cable first. We don't have it. We use Netflix and YouTube. We just don't have it. How do we save on pet expenses? Okay, so first of all, don't have pets. But if you have pets, you don't need to buy them special fancy foods. Walmart has pet foods now that are all grain-free. Like our dog had allergies really bad. And I put him on the Walmart brand, Rachel Ray brand, and it worked really well. So get small dogs instead of large dogs. And if you can't afford animals,
get dogs that don't need to be groomed.
Yeah.
That have fur that doesn't need to be groomed.
That kind of thing. We upcycle on using paper towels. Yeah, we use rags instead of paper towels. Kim, I've had good luck with Walmart pet food, so it's been really good. We use the Rachel Ray, and our dog's allergies went away. So.
Okay, I have to say this because I laugh. When I was young, everybody just fed their dogs scraps from the table. Whatever scraps was left over from dinner, they would give them, some of the leftovers and scraps, people food from dinner. Well, then fast forward a few years, and My generation grew up with don't give them any people food, no matter what. You've got to just give them special dog food, So we started buying special dog food. And I saw the other day now everybody's going back to homemade, making their own dog food.
Now that's the
people
new
food.
thing.
And so now it's a new thing. So I would say unless your dog has a real health issue, I never fed my dog anything special, and he had allergies and weird stuff, but he survived. He lived a very healthy, long life.
Yes,
but don't panic over these things too much. If you can't afford the special stuff now, give it 6 months and you saved a little bit of money. People don't realize if you have, like, say, a $2,500 house payment and, say, $1,500 worth of credit card debt, that's what, $4,000? Am I adding right? My brain's not thinking. $4,000 a month in just those couple of credit cards and that. If you can get your credit card debt taken care of and your house paid off by sacrificing for a while, do you realize you'll have $4,000 that month to spend on whatever you need?
Go on vacation.
People don't think of it like that. They don't want to get sacrificed, but if you just sacrifice for a couple of years, you will have all this money you can spend at the end of that time and not have any stress to go with it.
Yeah. Here, I put the dog food in here. It is an affiliate link, but you can see what kind of dog food we use. For the Rachel Ray. Cloth diapers, yes, I cloth diapered my kids. How do we get the news? Joanna wanted to know how we get the news. Okay, we don't watch the news. There's no reason people really need to watch the news nowadays.
I have not had the news on for years, but yet I can tell you pretty much what's happening in the world now.
Yeah.
How, I don't know, but I can.
If there's something major that is going on, your friends and family are going to let you know. It's something you need
just
to
find
know.
out, yeah.
But we do not watch the news on a regular basis. If there's something like what happened this weekend with the shooting, we will go to a news station we'll go to Fox News on the internet and look at it and see, what's happened. But we don't listen to the news. We don't listen to the 10 o'clock news, nothing like that.
I stopped watching the news in the early 70s. And why I did that, they were showing pictures from Vietnam. And my husband was overseas at the time, and I was so depressed, very depressed, because I was expecting Tara. He didn't get to see her until she was like 7 months old. He was gone. I was having to live at home. And here was all these pictures of Vietnam and all that. And I went to bed almost in tears every night watching the news. And I realized this is one of those things that's not good for me. And why was I doing this? And I immediately stopped doing it when I realized how it was affecting me emotionally. And I stopped watching the news. And I very rarely, I watch the weather station. Sometimes I'll hear something on the weather station, but I don't watch the news.
Yeah, and one thing,
it upsets the kids too.
Well, yeah, but it doesn't affect you. Like what happened this week, there's nothing I can do about it. I will pray for those people. I pray that God will comfort their families, and I pray that He will bring healing to them, and I pray that He will bring them to Him through this. But there's nothing I can do about it except to pray for them. So I do that, but I'm not going to dwell on it all the time.
And if you dwell on things like that happened in Florida or over in Europe or something, that's not that we don't care. But you can get so emotionally distraught over that, you can't function. And we have neighbors that need help. You have neighbors that you need to think about, that you need to care for. Older people in your community. There's so much in your own community that if you get emotionally handicapped watching the news and watching that stuff in these other places, you can't function as well to help the people. So many people are not helping anybody in their own area, but they're worrying about all these people. They're sending money over to all these people in other, and it's not that we don't do that. I mean, we, like Tara says, we pray for these people. We feel really bad about it, and if there was something we could do, we'd be all over it.
Yeah.
But I think we lose sight of we need to concentrate more on what's happening just in our own area for a little. That doesn't mean you should never do any of this, because we're going to get really flack on that. I know that we don't care, but that's not what we're really saying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, so that's, I don't know how we got on that. Anyway, so we don't don't watch the news. All right, so I think that we are done, and we will be back tomorrow at noon. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Do we know what we're talking about tomorrow? I don't think we know what we're talking about tomorrow. Mom's
But we're going to have more practical stuff. How to do probably something how to.
How to what? We don't know.
I don't know. Iron something or I don't know.
Oh, ironing. That's what we're doing tomorrow. Is ironing.
Is that okay?
Yes. So tomorrow we're going to show. Mom's going to show. She loves to iron. I hate to iron.
We might do something else too.
And Lourdes asked, real quick, I'll finish this up. What do you do to buy organic? Okay. This is a loaded question, so I'm going to say the short of it. I don't buy organic. I don't believe in organic food. I don't think there's anything wrong if you want to do that. But my great-grandmother, when she was 87 years old, was crying, telling a story about how they were literally starving and her dad had to go on snowshoes to try and get food, and they had literally eaten their last biscuit and they thought they were going to die because they didn't have enough food. So I don't really believe in it. I think that chemicals and pesticides, if used correctly, are fine, so I don't have a problem with it. I'm a big gardener, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And honestly, if you can't afford organic foods, just be thankful that you have food. And wash the outsides of your fruits and vegetables, and that will get 99.9% of the pesticides and that kind of thing off. Grow your own organic. I do have a garden, and I grow organic, but you know, really, I don't worry about it.
Well, I read it. I researched this. I did some research on this, and they said that I researched what was the number one thing that saved more lives in like centuries past than anything else, and the number one thing was fertilizers and pesticides. Billions and billions of lives have been saved because nobody understands. We have so much food. We don't understand one of the main causes of death for people, even in America, a century ago, 2 centuries ago, was malnourishment. They couldn't grow enough food because the pests killed the food. They didn't have fertilizers. They used compost and stuff like that, but it wasn't enough to get the food
And
going.
I read an article in an old World War II or World War I cookbook, and one of the biggest problems they had in World War I was all these malnourished soldiers who had come from the farm. They specifically said they are coming from the farm, and they were malnourished, and they did not have the nutrients they needed because these foods were organic and they were grown home. They didn't have enough of it. So
it wasn't until after that war that we started getting food in America. If you'll notice, the babies have started getting bigger and fatter and healthier when they're born. Their weights are more, you know, and that type of thing, since they started doing that.
Yeah. So anyway, so we don't use organic, but if you want to, you grow your own stuff, and that's a great way to get started. Or go to farmers markets at the end of the day, and sometimes they'll be ready to get rid of their food so you can get it for cheap. So
or buy some stuff like the oranges, you know, that you can peel, bananas that you can peel. Don't buy those organic. You know, you feel safer using those maybe than the other.
Yeah. Okay. All right, guys. Have a good day. We'll be back tomorrow showing you how to iron. Why would anybody iron? No, I'm just kidding. You do need to know how to iron, so Mom's going to show you. So go to livingonadime.com, and we will see you tomorrow.
Bye-bye.